Hey guys, what is up? Brendan here, aka Brenbo, back on the grind. I'm starting to make a lot of videos now that the weather's nice and, just getting a lot of mods for the car. So, like I said in my last video, I'm just getting the car tinted. So I'll show you guys the car really quick. I got, like I said, 15 everywhere except the windshield 45. And so far, it seems like it's perfect because at night you can still see through the windshield. And the 15 on the sides is just enough to hide you, but at the same time not get you in too much trouble. So I'll show you that. Right there, the 15, you can't even really see through it. Immaculate job. In the back window, the dot matrix at the top, it'll tend to bubble, but the guy who did this, he had a Mustang, he knew about that. He did it great. So the back window turned out awesome. And yeah, so 15 also right there. And then for the windshield, you guys can see a tiny bit of the seat right there and the steering wheel, but in the light, it's actually a lot darker, but still that's perfect. It gets rid of that like fishbowl blue look, but it still gives me enough room to look around and see and not get me in trouble also. So that's like one of the things I did to the exterior of the car. I really haven't been doing much to it. A lot of it has been going to power because this car loves to make power. And I really wanted to achieve that, and I did already. So now I'm gonna be ordering one more part for the exterior to like make it look a little bit more aggressive, even though the car looks really aggressive already, I think. But one more little thing to make it look a little bit more aggressive. And I think that's really about it, except wheels, which is obviously like a given, I'll eventually do. But this thing, I don't know if you'll be able to guess right now. But the car is absolutely a mess. When you tint, you spray water everywhere, and it needs another wash. So I'll wash it eventually, but let's get to the main part of this video, which is 5 things I hate about my Terminator Cobra. But before I start, you guys always complain about why did I buy the car if I hate it? This is for entertainment purposes only. So obviously there's things I don't like about it, but that's with every single car on the road. I work on Lamborghinis, Ferraris for my job. I do maintenance on them, and I can name many things that I hate about some of those cars. So it's basically on every car there's gonna be something you hate. So obviously on this one there's gonna be some, but it was actually hard for me to think of 5. So I'll be naming 5 things I hate, but like I said, I love this car to death. This is my dream car. So obviously I don't actually hate it. So let's get on to number 1, but first, let me bring it outside. Let's start with number 1, and that is the shifter placement. On this car, when you want to shift, I feel like you have to extend your arm way too far to go into the next gear. A short throw shifter will obviously fix this problem, but it's just way too excessive. Like you literally have to move your whole body to get into the next gear. I'll show you what I mean. So here's my arm fully extended. I can't even reach the shifter, and this is when I'm leaning back at the seat. So obviously when I lean forward in the seat, I can reach it. My arm is still fully extended. So I think it'd be perfect if they would have put it where the coin holder is, but this is just way too far up. I mean, it's still, you get used to it after a while, but for someone that's new to this car, right here is about perfect. And since I'm in the car already, I might as well name number 2, and that's the interior. And I'm not gonna say the quality of the interior because obviously for 2003, Ford wasn't putting leather everywhere in the interior or Alcantara. It's nice that they put it on the seats in the middle for the Cobras, but that's what I'm trying to get to is they didn't really change the interior for the Cobras except the seat and putting Cobra on the steering wheel. So they put Cobra right there, and then they put the snake and the Alcantara in the middle, and that's all they really did. The dash still says Mustang. Everything here is exactly the same. Obviously you have the 6-speed, which is different, but everything else is basically the same thing. It says SVT right there, but for what you're paying extra from the dealer, I feel like you should have got some better interior upgrades except just the seats. Number 3 is the stance of this car. When I first got this car, it was like taller than F-150s you get from the dealer like nowadays. It was crazy. I'll throw up a picture when I first got the car. of how high this thing was. I put this thing on H&R Sport Springs, took out the isolators, and it still not perfectly stands. That's how high this car was. I dropped it about 2 inches, I would say, or maybe 2.5 in the rear since it was so high, and it still doesn't achieve perfect stance, which is crazy. They have a Cobra, it's like the higher end race spec, and they still don't put the car super low. The GTs like have the exact same stance from the factory. So as you can see, the wheel gap's not terrible in the back, but it's still kind of high for being on lowering springs and having the rubber isolators removed. The front is obviously lower because it wasn't as high to begin with. Number 4 is the speakers. The speakers are really good. I have the upgraded Mach system in the car, which has the 2 amps and has like the 2 subs in the back, which is okay. I can't imagine the lower end Mach system. But this has 2 amps. It's basically the best system I have for Ford back in the day, and it's all right, but it's still not what I would think would be a good system to represent the Cobra. I knew when you're riding in a Cobra, you least care about like the sound and the music when you're riding in this thing. Like I don't even use my radio anymore because I just like to listen to my exhaust. But if you want to jam with your friends one day or something, this exhaust is not the best for like bass and especially sound quality when you turn up the volume. I know if you update or like put in a new radio like unit, it'll make these speakers actually sound really good and make the system be what it's supposed to be. But with the stock unit, it's not that great. It's something to do with the amp that's built into the radio, I believe. When you upgrade that, the system will sound really good actually. I will do that eventually. I'm going to put in a navigation system, but for now the radio it's okay. And lastly, number 5, and that is the IRS in this car. One reason I bought this car was for the IRS, and it's a great system. I definitely like it over the rear axle. Obviously it soaks up bumps a lot better, makes the car more level. But under power, the bushings in these IRS don't handle it well. You get a lot of wheel hop. It's not very noticeable at first, but when you do the pulley, you do the tune, you do the intake, when you start to get into the higher horsepower, you really notice the bushings and how the car wheel hops. And that can actually blow things out on the car from that vibration in the wheel hop, and it can damage some components. So you're gonna have to put some money into upgrading bushings on the IRS, which I will eventually do. It's just a lot of work because you have to take it out and obviously replace all those. It's not super hard, it's just time consuming. I took out the IRS when I did the springs, and it's just a lot of work to do. Eventually I'll do it, but I don't drive the car enough where I feel like I have to do it right away after putting the pulley on and everything. That's kind of what I'm getting to, is you have to do all this work just because you put all this power into the car. At least you don't have to rebuild the engine or anything, I'll give it that, but just you get a lot of wheel hop. I don't have really good tires yet to like really hook. It might get worse when I do, I'm not sure yet, but we'll see. But that's really it. IRS, you know, it can be a little stubborn at times. So that is 5 things that I hate about my Terminator Cobra. Obviously, I love the car so much. Favorite car. I actually like it more than my dad's Lamborghini Gallardo, which might be hard to believe, but this car is just really dramatic, has a lot of character, and I love that about this car. So don't think for a second that I hate this car. But I'll see you guys in the next video. I might be doing 5 things I love about this car. I'm not really sure yet. But hit the subscribe button down below so you know when I upgrade awesome videos about this car. I'll be racing my dad's Gallardo, which will be super interesting. I know you guys will want to watch that. So hit the little bell so you get a notification of when I upload. And yeah, that does it for today. So see you guys in the next video. Peace out.